Meanwhile, for our visitors, the Vikings, they've been flawless all year long as they hit the home stretch at 13-0.
And now they just have to guard against complacency. You still got to go out and earn it every week.
It's the final 3 weeks of the season. Still plenty to play for here as we're underway in Week 15. This fielded a few yards into the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. So here come the Falcons now to get the football for the first time. They'll be led out by the #1 overall pick of the 2008 draft, the man they call Matty Ice, quarterback Matt Ryan.
Just 3 weeks of games left in the NFL regular season. What's it going to take for him to win the MVP? What's it going to take?
Whatever it is, if he wants to strengthen that candidacy, no time like the present.
Yeah, and let me tell you what I think. Not only does he have to play the clean game, no picks, things of that nature, he has to have at least one significant play that we'll talk about all next week. That'll really give him a higher profile.
Now a quick slant as the throw's complete. And he's going to get a good gain of 9 here up to the 34.
Nothing fancy on first down, but a very consistent type of a play. Hit that slant. A lot of people call it an extension of the running game, and it can be if that pass is completed, because you hit a guy on the run like that, he often can go for big yardage.
Sets him up nicely for second down, staying ahead of schedule.
2nd and 1, and people want to run the football. This is where every back in the league is supposed to do exactly what we just saw there. Pick up the first down.
Line of scrimmage, the 37 on 1st and 10.
Switch up.
Out of the gun, it's Ryan. His throw incomplete. Johnson was the intended receiver. That'll bring up 2nd down. All right, let's look at the offense. Devontae Freeman, this is a guy that you wanted to talk about, so take it away.
Brandon, have you seen a running back play with such joy as well as such fury? I love the way he runs the football and attacks defenses.
Line of scrimmage, again the 37 as they line up 2nd and 10. Now Ryan going to give it to Freeman. And that one goes for about 6 as he's taken down just shy of the 45.
Despite the blitz, they're still able to pick up a nice solid gain. The disadvantage of blitzing often alters the normal spacing and run fits and leaves creases like they were able to exploit right there.
From the gun on 3rd down, Ryan. It's caught. Jones. And this is going to turn into another first down as the tackle is made at the Vikings 43. That's the #2 receiver in the NFL in terms of yardage. And tell you what, a few more plays like that, he won't be #2 for long.
But that's what often happens when you have competitors running around the field. These guys know where they stand in relationship to yardage, totals, numbers, the whole deal. And let's face it, all of them, they all want to be #1.
This is Freeman on 1st and 10. And he's dropped right at the 40. Gain of 3. Here now the starters defensively for the Vikings. They were terrific last week in the win over the Rams.
And all defensive teams that I know talk about creating turnovers. Takeaways, they call them. And anytime you can get 2 or more in a game, you've had a really, really good performance. They exceeded that number in a big way.
On 2nd down, Freeman. And forget about finding a lane. He barely had time to look up before he was planted in the backfield. That'll be a loss of 4 yards on the play. And that'll bring up a 3rd and 11 situation. Excellent effort defensively by him. 2 tackles for a loss last week, now 1 here in the first quarter.
He's an absolute disruptor, isn't he? And I think most offenses would love to go against guys who just want to hold the point of attack and try and keep things clean for their linebackers. But when they make those moves and they can get upfield, past the offensive line into the backfield, that's hard to handle.
This one complete to Devontae Freeman. Well, this is going to depend on the spot, but it's not a very generous one. He looks to be about a yard or so short. They'll get 10 there, but it leaves him just short for 4th down. So first possession, 4th and short. Field goal's no gimme from here. What do you think about going for it?
I'm not just thinking about it. I'm signaling go for it. Let's get this, all right? Yeah, look, you're right. You know, the field goal's there, but it's not a chip shot. My big thing is opening drive. You're trying to establish momentum. Let's not stall it ourselves. Let's go get this first down and then continue on downfield and try and get a touchdown.
I like your confidence.
Yeah, why not? Let's go.
So the opening drive does yield points, maybe not the 7 they wanted, but they'll take the 3.
Accumulating first downs does not go up on the scoreboard. but it does go into the DNA of a team that's trying to establish itself to start a game. That has to feel pretty good for them. They'll take the 3.
Yeah, they had 3 first downs and 3 points. After knocking through the field goal, here's Gano back out there now for the kickoff. This is fielded a couple yards deep. And all that work, but he stopped where he ultimately would have been, and he's simply taken a knee, and that's the 25-yard line. So here's the Viking offense making their way out. And they'll be led out by the NFL's most valuable player from 2015. It's Cam Newton.
To be considered for the MVP award in the NFL, it's got to be a season of not just consistency, but spectacular consistency, and he's had it all the way through.
I think you're right. He's been as consistent, more consistent probably than anybody else as the numbers bear out. And the social media chatter for the MVP races certainly start to ramp up. I know you and I have felt that.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Right now, he's in the pole position as we head down the stretch.
Oh, he's going to air it out right away. And that'll wind up incomplete. Trying to give his man room to run under it, but it's second down. Well, let's take a look here at the offense for Minnesota.
So let's all work together on this one because it's natural to just watch the football. But I want all of us to watch the center of this offensive line, the center and the 2 guards. They've got to be able to control the point of attack, and they didn't do such a good job on that last play. Plenty of opportunities to redeem themselves. They'll have to take advantage of that and start to make progress.
Gun.
Now the first carry for Dalvin Cook. It'll be a pickup of 5, and that leaves him with 5 more. 3rd and 5 now. Time for a look at our starters here on defense. This unit, they've struggled a little bit against the pass, ranked number 21 in the league.
And the easy thought process is that stopping the run is the least of their problems because they're facing the number 1 passing team in the NFL. But if they don't stop the run as well, then that just opens up the passing game even more. They've got to do both.
5 men in the secondary now for the Falcons on 3rd down.
59, Mark, 59. Mike, check, 59.
From the gun, here's Newton. He's got it complete to Stephon Diggs. And he's going to come up a bit short. He needed to get to the 35 for the first, but he only makes it to the 34.
Well, we hear so often how tackling has become almost a lost art in the NFL game. But it's so important to tackle well on these receivers, especially in a play like this one. 3rd down, they gave him the underneath stuff. You got to go and make the tackle right away.
And good hustle here as this is going to be blown dead right at the 9-yard line.
Well, someone's going to be happy with that effort. And you know who else is going to be happy? His defense.
Absolutely.
He's created a very long field for that offense to try to traverse.
And he got some help from Mr. Football there, checking up nicely. Good English on that punt. Atlanta now coming out on the field. They've got a 3-0 lead and the football as they start 1st and 10. Now Ryan on 1st down. And it's hauled in by Austin Hooper. And they'll get him down after a pickup of 8. 2nd and 2. A good pickup there. 8 yards on the 1st down completion. Facing a 2nd and 2 after that last catch. Good for 8 yards. Ryan on the handoff. It's Freeman. And he was able to shed the tackle, but the reserves come in for the stop.
But we just saw a great example of what we talked about with his coach prior to the game. He's definitely one of the better linebackers at reading a play and flowing to make the stop before it turns into something big.
On 3rd down, Devontae Freeman. Boy, no chance as he was met and dropped behind the line there. That'll back him up 2 yards and also bring up 4th.
That's a really alert defense there because they saw the heavy look come in from the offense, countered it with extra linebackers who brought a little bit of speed and heft, and able to really make a big-time play for their defense.
On 4th down, here's Matt Bosher on the punt. He was only asked to punt once in the victory last week as he sends this one away. Now here's Ross. And he'll take this to the other side of midfield before going out of bounds. A very nice job on the run back there. He'll get 23 yards all told. And the Vikings, they'll be set up well as they take over in great field position. 1st and 10. The Vikings offense making their way back out. Now let's give you a look at the playoff picture coming into the weekend in the NFC. And for them, it's no longer a question of will they make the playoffs. They've clinched the division title. The question, can they hold on to that #1 seed?
And this is where the mental fortitude comes to play, doesn't it? Because now you're not just the coach talking about it. It's team talking about it to each other, supporting each other, carrying each other along, because having that #1 seed means everything in the NFL.
It does. So even though the division title's clinched, shouldn't take the foot off the gas.
No, not at all. Play it all the way through, and I think we've seen that in recent years in the NFL. The teams that play and play to win each and every game, they're the ones to deal with in the playoffs.
Eight yards the gain on that last run. Here's 2nd and a couple.
Gun.
To throw is Newton. And brought in by the tight end Cook. And he's going to get this inside the 30. They get 14 there. 1st down, Vikings.
I got a kick out of that one, partner. You and I talk often about trying to hide receivers in certain situations, but a guy of his size can't really hide him. But the tight end drag route, definitely an effective way to sneak him across the formation for an easy completion and a 1st down.
That sends him 2 yards in the wrong direction and leads to 2nd down. Plays like we just saw there. That's why they're up right now. And the defense, they're doing their job.
Yeah, it starts with the guys up front. So when you talk with GMs who are putting together a team, a lot of them say we're going to build from the inside out, because if you control the line of scrimmage, you control the rest of the ball game. And that's what we're seeing here. They're actually playing in the offense's backfield, not necessarily just playing at the line of scrimmage.
On 2nd and 12, Newton. And this one incomplete. Too much contact to hold on to that one, and it's 3rd down.
Defensively here, you're facing a top 5 team in terms of points scored in the NFL. So when they're that high-powered, you've got to find a way to hold them under 20, because to me, that's the magic number. 20 points scored gives yourself you give yourself your best chance to win.
So if they're up around 24, 28, 30, they could be in some trouble.
And I think so, because then you turn it into a shootout, and that means your offense has to keep pace.
Thielen with his first catch, and it's a 1st down. That's what we're used to seeing from him right there. Plays like that, why he's #4 in the league in terms of receiving yardage.
Able to make adjustments all along the way. Doesn't matter where he lines up, where he releases from. Working his way into the secondary, figures out defenses and finds weak spots in order to get open.
They'll run it now out of the gun. And they see right through that defensively as he'll be hit and taken down in the backfield. A tackle for loss there. 2 last week. He's tough to handle coming off the edge.
When you talk about a defensive end, your first thought is how does he rush the passer? That's where he makes his big plays getting into the backfield. But the best ones can play the run as well. And that's what we're seeing from him, that excellent combination of holding the point of attack and also getting upfield to make plays in the backfield.
He fights forward for a couple with a penalty flag down. And the linemen, they're already walking back. So some holding over on the left side of that O-line.
And I know for the guys trying to move those big defensive people, they'd love for them to stay in one spot. But they move around so quick and so fast that sometimes you just have to grab them.
They'll come up now on a 2nd and long after the hold.
45. Mike, 45.
Out of the gun, Newton. He's got his man. It's taken in for a Viking touchdown. Dalvin Cook there to make the grab. And the Vikings have taken the lead. Well, he wasn't the guy they were initially going for, but after going through the progressions, it worked.
When you have plenty of people who can catch the football, you don't always have to go to your primary target, and sometimes that target is actually covered. Nice job coming off of that and getting it to someone who was open.
And the man out of the backfield gets in for the score. Now the extra point. And this is up and good to make it 7-3. So that winds up a 7-play drive all told. And it all culminates in a touchdown for Minnesota. Here's Martin now following the score as he'll send this one away. This is fielded a couple yards deep. And he's able to get it across the 20, but not by much as he's marked down at the 21-yard line. Here comes the Falcon offense now as they get set to take over here. And on the last go-around, they really couldn't get anything going.
They had to punt from deep inside their own territory, which means you're going to lose the field position battle as a general rule. What they're looking for now is a little more consistency, move the ball at least a few times on offense, get a couple of first downs, and hopefully flip the field.
Yeah, just something to build off of. That's what they're looking for here. They run. Devontae Freeman. And that play going absolutely nowhere as he's belted before he could get out of the backfield. They'll wind up losing 3 yards here, and it'll bring up a 2nd and 13. It's no secret that this is a team that's built on passing, but as you always tell me, you have to throw the run in there every now and then to keep that pass sharp.
Yeah, you have to, because otherwise, if they never have to worry about running the football, it is just a controlled sprint to your quarterback, and eventually, you're calling on your backup quarterback.
But they got to do better than that last go-around. They went in the wrong direction. On 2nd down now, it's Freeman. And there just continues to be nowhere to run. He's bottled up again at the line of scrimmage. Then he got off the end there very quickly to make that play.
Yeah, it was almost like the bullet train, wasn't it? I mean, just zoom, quick, 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 and what a terrific play, holding them to no gain.
Take 4, take 4.
On 3rd down, Ryan. And that will be incomplete.
You hear the calls for a penalty, but I just don't think so. I think in this situation, the defender was making sure his guy couldn't hold on to the football. So I don't see anything to warrant you a flag.
No, I'm with you. There was contact, but I'm happy they kept that flag in the back pocket. Here's Matt Bosher now as he'll kick it away for the 2nd time. He'll take this to the other side of midfield before going out of bounds. A great return there of 22 yards. And this offense, they're going to have excellent field position. They take over with a 1st and 10 on the short side of the field. And you see Dalvin Cook and the offense heading back out. And you see his numbers from a week ago. He was up over 100 yards then, and he's already hit pay dirt here once in this one.
We always talk about quarterbacks and receivers getting into rhythm, right? Really feeling good, finding each other downfield. I think running backs operate the same way. They can hit a good rhythm and a good stride, and he's carrying it over from last week.
Now a play fake here on 1st down. And this is Cook with a grab. A gain of 6 there on 1st. That's a staple of this offense. Drag route to the tight end.
Yeah, he's unable to use his size to break off much more yardage after the catch, but still an effective gain nonetheless.
20. Check 24. Check 20.
On 2nd down, it's Cook. 20. And he'll get into the end zone. Touchdown, Minnesota. Dalvin Cook with his 2nd touchdown in this opening quarter. And the Vikings are going to widen that advantage.
Brandon, my man, just one sentence for that one. Clinic.
And that's what they've done. They lead the league in points per game this season, but it's been quick strikeability as we saw on that drive.
I think they're actually intimidating defenses because they're back on their heels right away, wondering where it's going to come from, how they're going to hit them. This group is well organized, well coached, and extremely confident in what they do.
Extra point up and through. And the decision to just kick the extra point winds up successful. It only took him 2 plays there to find the end zone. The last one, the long run, getting him in for 6 points. So after the touchdown, Martin now on to kick this one away. This fielded at the 2. And his guys are going to start their drive right at the 20-yard line. Here comes the Atlanta offense now ready to take over here. And with this deficit, you can't have too many more drives like the last drive where you had to punt it away.
You know what I would tell my offense right here? The punter doesn't exist, guys. He doesn't even exist. He's not a team anymore. I just cut him, all right? So you've got to go out and create some offense for us here and give us some points. No way does that guy get on the field on this drive.
Poor punter.
Yeah, it wasn't his fault. But hey, listen, there's got to be casualties at times. We're trying to win a game.
The numbers for Freeman a week ago. 17 carries, 71 yards.
He's been a huge part of their winning streak because he establishes not just an identity and a tone, but the team relies on it. He takes care of the football, he gains yardage for him, chews up clock, and that's been a big part of why they're winning games lately.
And now a throw here secured by his running back out of the backfield. It'll be a gain of 4, and that's going to bring up a 3rd down.
Everyone's got to be able to catch the football. Doesn't matter what position you play, but if you're on offense, be aware a ball may come your way.
Ryan now to throw on 3rd down. Looking deep, and that's caught inside the 35. Touchdown, Falcons. Julio Jones with touchdown number 7 on the year as his guys are back within a single score. Well, we've seen these two, Matt Ryan and Julio Jones, connect quite a few times over the years. It never gets old.
It never gets old. Well, maybe for the defense it does, but not for us who are watching it. And Julio, every time he steps on the field, you can just about mark him down for 100 yards. That's about his career average per game. But think about this. Getting in the end zone has always been a struggle for him. He gets the big yardage, but he doesn't get the touchdowns. Not this time. No matter how many people were kicked in coverage, he found a way to beat it.
So the drive there, they went 80 yards in 3 plays. And the Falcons score to cap it off. Gano now following the touchdown here to kick it away. This fielded a few yards into the end zone. And all that worked, but he stopped where he ultimately would have been had he simply taken a knee, and that's the 25-yard line. Now the Vikings offense works their way back onto the field. There have been points on the board. We just saw back-to-back touchdown drives. I love it. I'm high-fiving our statistician, Christian McLeod, and you're angry. You're a defensive guy.
If you met one of my defensive coordinators, God rest his soul, I'm surprised he isn't in this booth right now wanting to really take you on. This is not football the way he sees it. He wants a good old-fashioned kicking game, defense, field position, and we're getting an up and down the field game here.
I'll take him. Where's his tombstone?
Boot Hill, baby.
12 yards there. 1st down, Vikings. Another fine carry from the NFL's rushing leader, and quarterbacks typically dominating the MVP balloting, but I think you got to give this guy serious consideration, don't you?
I agree totally. I mean, he's leading the league in rushing, and let's face it, partner, the running back renaissance in the NFL, it's real, and it's really helping teams along the way. He's a prime example. Got to give him strong consideration for MVP talk.
Now Newton on 1st down. Got his man there. It's Wallace complete. And he'll be stopped right at midfield. 13 yards as the Vikings pick up the 1st down. Solid catch there for a man who's been so brilliant this year. Worth pointing out, as we were talking about earlier, there has never in the 60-year history of the award been a pass catcher, tight end, or wide receiver that has taken home the MVP trophy.
And the best receivers I've talked with, they know that stat, and it drives them crazy because they understand that without a quarterback, they don't make the plays that they make. But they also don't feel like they get enough credit for bailing out some of the throws that quarterbacks make.
Absolutely. Takes 2 to tango. On the ground, this is Derrick Henry. And he'll be taken down at the 44-yard line. It's a 6-yard pickup, and it gets him to 2nd and 4.
A quick burst there, and he nicely bit off a pretty decent gain.
6 yards on that last play. Here's 2nd and 4.
Gun.
Derrick Henry. And here he'll be brought down a little shy of the 35 at the 36. That one, a first down pickup of 8.
Tremendous blocking by the interior of the offensive line. They didn't just gash him there. They blasted a gaping hole for him to gallop through. I think if he comes back to the huddle, he better be giving them a whole lot of credit and thanking them for that much space to rumble.
So from the 36 now, 1st and 10.
I'm coming after you. Hatchet. Switch. I get it.
The shotgun snap for Newton. Steps away to his left. Good coverage downfield led to him taking off, picking up the first down on a 13-yard run. So an instance there of Cam being Cam. We know he can use his legs.
And with that big body, it's hard to get him down, even if you get a clear shot on him. Plus, he moves it a lot faster than what people think. And boy, does he have fun playing the game of football.
Ready? Mike is 59. I'm on. 59 Mike. Check. 59. Watch the slip.
On first down, Newton. And the Falcons get there. The Falcons get the sack. Down he goes.
Come on,
And they weren't in zone coverage. They were in man, and each man did his job.
And that looked like vintage, old-school coverage, didn't it? Man coverage reminded me of an old Raiders team. They had a Hall of Famer at one corner and a Defensive Player of the Year at the other, and they just locked people down.
So 2nd and long, and got to be careful not to fall out of field goal range.
Mike 59. Record. Mike's 59. Here we go. Great. Check 59. Mike is 59. Mike to 59. I'm coming, baby.
Now it's Newton. He's able to find Wallace. And they'll bring him down at the 18-yard line. That one good for 17 as they're set up better now for 3rd down.
It's a nice completion, a little bit of run after catch as well to create the yardage that they got. But it is so tough to cover that route, the drag route, because they run it at varying speeds. Because the key is to create hesitancy on the defender's part.
Always so empathetic for those DBs, aren't you? Play number 7 now coming up on the drive. 3rd and 5. Here's Newton. Setting up the screen for Cook. And able to get him down, but he does reach the 5. Another nice gain. That's now 30 yards between those last 2 plays.
Let's give a little credit there. The offensive play caller sensed that the screen pass was available. Whenever you're getting a lot of heavy pressure towards your quarterback, that's when you're thinking about running the screen and using that pressure against the defense. And it worked very well there for a first down.
Check 45 to Mike. Get ready. Gun. Get ready. 45. Mike, 45. Check.
Newton now to throw. Toward the end zone, but that's going to wind up incomplete. They don't get the hook up there, but you really have to marvel at how precise he's been throwing the football these last couple weeks.
Oh, that's the perfect word for it, precise. Because if you're at 70% or better 2 weeks in a row, you have a job as long as you want one in this league, won't you? I mean, let's face it, it's not just West Coast offense either. He's putting the ball downfield as well.
And he's going to get him about 3 yards closer. He's down to about the 2.
That didn't just feel like good defense there. That felt like pride, didn't it? He's already gotten into the end zone twice, trying to get there for a 3rd time. No one likes to have the hat trick against them.
45. in your face.
Now Newton on 3rd and goal. And Rudolph has got it. The big tight end for a Viking touchdown. Kyle Rudolph with touchdown number 7 on the year. And the Vikings are going to widen that advantage. No surprise there, 3rd and goal down here. That's where they're going to look for their tight end.
Yeah, you want that big guy running his routes because it doesn't matter who they cover him with. If it's another big guy, he might use his bulk against him. If it's a shorter defender, might go over the top. Either way, you tend to find a little bit of a mismatch in that area.
Extra point attempt to come here. It's good, and it's 21-10. A pretty long drive that time. 11 plays all told. And it's polished off by a Viking score. Here's Martin now following the score as he'll send this one away. This is fielded at the goal line. And he'll probably wish he'd reconsidered here. It will cost him 10 yards as he's down at the 15.
Well, conventional football 101, tells us if you don't get it back to the 20-yard line on a kickoff return, that's a disappointment. But some of these teams, special teams coaches, with approval by the head coach, they give them full authority to go ahead and bring it out and try to be aggressive, almost what we call the green light, red light theory. Green light means go, red light means stop. Looks like he had green on that play.
The drive will start with a carry by Devontae Freeman. And he'll take this up only to about his 18-yard line. Anthony Barr in on the tackle.
They'd love to just strike back with a touchdown right here, and if it's a long play, so be it. But the main goal, get a couple of first downs, run some plays, run some clock, allow their defense to get a chance to catch their breath, settle down, and relax a little bit after they just gave up a score.
They're still about 3 yards shy of a first as the 4-yard pickup brings it to 3rd down.
And that's one of the reasons you like to blitz even on rundowns. It confuses the blocking assignments. It doesn't allow those offensive linemen to get up to the second level.
From the gun on 3rd down, Ryan gets it off to Freeman. It'll be a 3-yard gain, and it'll be 4th down. Instead of throwing it downfield, Charles, they just tried to dump it underneath there. You like the call?
I do. I think it's a high percentage play because you get the completion, and what you're counting on is your back to use his legs and his elusiveness to make people miss and pick up the first down. In this case, it didn't happen.
Here's Matt Bosher now as he's on to punt for Atlanta. He's been a busy man here in this first half as he gets it away. 51 yards on the punt there. And the Vikings will take over here 1st and 10. Getting set to go again here, Cam Newton marches back onto the field. And he's been good. 2 first-half touchdown passes, no interceptions so far.
Does a lot for your confidence. Does a great deal for your team. Gives them a lead, and they're feeling really good about how they're playing. I think he expects to throw at least another one.
I was going to say, now he wants the first-half hat trick, doesn't he?
Oh, without a doubt. Go ahead and fling him on the field, folks. He wants that type of celebration.
Pretty good results here on the first down run as he takes this forward for about 6. He'll get a nice chunk there on the first down run, and it's 2nd and 4. The last run got 6, now 2nd and 4. They keep it on the ground. This time it's Henry. And he is met quickly in the backfield. Down he goes, folded like a lawn chair.
That's a tough one right there. He ran right into the teeth of the blitz as the linebacker was freed up in order to stuff that one for a loss. I think quarterbacks got to see that. Got to find a way to audible into something a little more advantageous.
Throwing on 3rd down, Newton. And Diggs has it. And he'll be tackled right on the chalk of the 45. A 3rd down gain of 19.
Did you see that route the way that I did? I thought he was trying to get deep.
Yeah, that wasn't the first option.
No, it came off of that guy, the deep guy, and came underneath on the drag, completed it very well.
Hey, we got to get to the ball, team. We got to get to the ball. Let's keep moving.
They'll run it now out of the gun. And if there was a lane there, it closed up quickly as he stopped for no gain. Second down.
Perfectly designed blitz right there. They took that one from the grease board to the field because they were able to free up their linebacker to get into the backfield and spill the play.
Check back.
Back to the ground, this time Cook. And he's over midfield and into Falcon territory.
And there we saw one of the downsides of blitzing during a rundown because sometimes you get out of your gaps. You don't fit the run quite as well because you're headed towards the ball carrier with abandon.
The Vikings on third down. They've been near perfect, 4 for 5 to this point. This is 3rd and 4.
Don't be scared of it.
Newton to throw. And a quick throw here, that's complete. And they'll get him down about 3 yards short of the first. Good defense holds him to only a yard, and it'll be 4th down.
One of the money routes for any offense, the drag route. So tough to defend because the receiver can stop at any point and make himself available to the quarterback and get a completion. But I love the communication we saw there. All the defenders pointing out the receiver, where he was going, and then they're able to rally to the ball after the catch and stop him short of a first down.
And no return here. Where will they spot it? They say just outside the 20-yard line. Matt Ryan and the Falcon offense set to get going again. Been a decent start for him here in this first half, but they're losing. And I think as the captain of the offense, you probably always feel like you need to do more in that situation.
The best have always felt that way, and they won't settle for anything less. So right now his goal is to increase what he's doing on the field, try to make sure his teammates come along with him, and he feels like if I do better, everyone will do better. And that's what we're seeing from him.
In trouble here, and down he goes. Back at the 8-yard line. Everson Griffin in there to get him, and on the season now, that is 9 sacks for him.
Well, so much for setting the tone of the drive offensively. Giving up a big sack that loses that kind of yardage, not a great start.
That huge loss on the sack makes this job much more difficult. It's now 2nd down and 22 yards to go. Here's Ryan to throw. And finding the tight end Hooper. And they'll get him down right at around the 11-yard line. That catch good for only a yard, and it'll be 3rd down.
Well, they're unable to convert that into much, but it's never a bad idea to try to get the ball into a tight end of his caliber's hands and see what kind of disruption he can cause.
The Falcons on 3rd down. They've converted just 2 for 6 thus far. This will be 3rd and forever. From the gun, it's Ryan. And he goes down. It's a sack. They get him back at his own 3-yard line. Daniil Hunter in there to bring him down, and that is sack number 17 for him now on the year. Here's Matt Bosher now as the drive goes backwards, so he's on to punt it away. And he's able to get it out of there. And he'll take this to the other side of midfield before going out of bounds. It's a 47-yard punt, but they did give up 10 on the return. And out will come the offense as they take over. Cam Newton getting ready to go again on offense. They've got the lead. He's a big reason why. Looking sharp so far.
And as we travel around the league, we see quarterbacks get it done in a variety of ways. But today's NFL does tell us one thing. If that guy doesn't play well, their team's not going to win. And right now, he's got his team in the lead.
And now they'll look to extend that lead. A solid run on 1st down. Gain of 7 leaves them with a 2nd and 3.
Offensive linemen love creating space for their guys carrying the ball. But when that guy also breaks tackles and creates extra yardage, they almost feel like he's one of them, and they really embrace him.
From the 39, Newton. That's complete to the receiver, Thielen. And he's going to get it down to the 33-yard line here. 7 yards there and a first down.
It's a game of matchups, and that's why you take your receivers and move them around a bunch, especially your best guys. And when they work out of the slot, you often hear the coaches talk about how great it is because it gives you a two-way go. You can break out or you can break in. That makes it hard to defend.
A 10th carry in the game for Cook. Just what you want on a first down run. Call it 8 yards, and it's 2nd and 2.
Some runs are blocked so well, you almost forget that someone has to carry the ball to gain the yardage. The leverage by the offensive line to create space up front, really well done.
Check 26, check 26.
They run a draw here on 2nd down. Absolutely nobody fooled there. He's going nowhere fast as he stopped behind the line of scrimmage.
We all have habits. We can be somewhat predictable, and you know me pretty well on 2nd down and short. What I like to say?
Play action.
Yeah, without a doubt. I thought that was a great spot to call it. Instead, didn't go their way, did it?
No, defense sold out for the run. Worked out well. And they're going to mark him down short, maybe by about a yard, if that. He needed 3. He got 2. Now that'll set up an interesting situation here on 4th and a yard.
This team doesn't mind running the ball in any situation, and I thought he was going to get the first down the way the play developed, but the defense closed in and stopped him just about a yard short.
They'll run for it with Henry, and he picks up the first down yardage as he takes it down to the 16. They're able to keep the drive alive, 7 yards that time, and the decision to go for it proves to be a good one.
Mike, check, 59.
Newton on first down. And he'll get into the end zone. Touchdown, Minnesota. Cam Newton with his 3rd touchdown pass of this first half. And the Vikings are going to widen that advantage.
Partner, remember that old film of Peyton Manning going through the route tree with his great receivers in Indianapolis? I think we're seeing the results of the same type of work here today. These guys know each other so well, they don't even have to call the play. They can just look each other and know the route that's going to be run, and usually the connection is perfect.
Out comes the kicking team here for the extra point. And the lead is up to 18 now. So this drive spans 7 plays, and it all culminates in a touchdown for Minnesota. So after the touchdown, Martin now on to kick this one away. This is fielded at the goal line. And he'll take it back to about the 19-yard line. Matt Ryan and the offense heading back onto the field. A lot of the problems have been on the other side of the ball. Is that frustrating for a quarterback who's been playing well?
It is, but there's no way that the best ones let their teammates know that. They actually take it upon themselves and say, okay, I have to do even more, or I need to play better. Maybe even say I put my defense in a bad spot. That's what true leadership shows you.
Yeah, well, he doesn't need to change much personally. They'll run with Freeman here to begin the drive. He'll get about 3 as he's taken down at the 23.
Well, it's time for them to be good teammates right here. And what I mean by that is possess the ball for a little while. Get at least 2 first downs. Give their defense a chance to settle down a little bit after they give up a touchdown.
Ryan going to give to Freeman on the draw. Calling a gain of a couple, and that's going to leave him with a 3rd and about 5. Good job there keeping him to a short gain. Of course, he's coming off a really terrific performance, reigning NFC Defensive Player of the Week.
And I know people get caught up in, well, if you're the reigning Defensive Player of the Week, you must have made a bunch of spectacular plays. Like you mixed in a few of those, but most of the plays are just like we saw there. Keep them to short gains, make the fundamental tackle.
And he's going to be taken down here still a couple yards short of the first. Just a 2-yard pickup, and that should necessitate a call for the punt team here on 4th down.
Well, he hasn't made much of an impact in the running game thus far, and after that last run, not much is going to change in that area.
He hasn't been able to get anything going, and really the offensive line not helping him much. Here's Matt Bosher now. He's been one of their few bright spots so far. And he deserves a bronze leg as he gets this one away. Ross on the return. That'll be put in the books as a 53-yard punt. And the offense will take over with a new set of downs. And you see Dalvin Cook and the offense heading back out. The passing game, they've had more success there than the running game. Maybe something they game plan for.
How come they didn't tell us about it?
Because they wanted to keep it a secret.
We did ask, didn't we? But I think what happened in this one is they've realized that they've established the run pretty well, and teams are going to key on that. They thought they could open it up and have success through the air, and that's exactly what's going on.
Yeah, they've had success, at least so far here in this. And he will score. Touchdown, Vikings. Dalvin Cook on his way to a monster game. 3 first-half touchdowns. And the Vikings are going to widen that advantage. And with that carry, he's already over 100 yards here in the first half.
And, partner, you know exactly what he's saying to his teammates right now, right? Especially to the play caller.
Give me the ball.
Again,
and
again,
again.
and again. It's not that heavy, sir. I'll take it.
Extra point splits the uprights, and the route is on here in this first half. I'm not sure if they drew that play up to score, but it scored indeed. One play on the ground and into the end zone for 6. Here's Martin now following the score as he'll send this one away. This is fielded at the goal line. And he'll be brought down at the 23, make it the 24-yard line. Atlanta now coming out on the field. These guys had to punt their last possession, and that's become too familiar of a refrain. Too many of these drives just wound up going nowhere.
But you know how in baseball, when the pitcher gets a base hit and he's on base, they bring his jacket out to him to keep him warm? A lot of times the punter goes to the sideline, puts on sweatpants or a wrap over his leg to keep it warm. He might need a massage from the trainer right now from all the work he's getting.
They throw right away, and that's complete out on the right side. No gain there on the completion, 2nd and 10.
Well, that was a simple throw and catch, but even with that completion, 0 yards gained, so they're behind schedule on down and distance.
I think they were hoping to get it to him. He could make a man or two miss, but that window closed quickly. Now a throw here to his running back. A short gain of just over 2 yards as the first half clock dips inside of 3 minutes.
And we see another pitch and catch there to the running back. This position just continues to evolve. They become just as critical to the passing attack as a lot of receivers, tight ends, because their ability to make people miss in the open field can really generate big plays for an offense.
He went over 100 yards in the wild card round. He's over 100 here as well, and a first down. So in the second quarter, he's already up over 100 yards receiving now.
And isn't 100 the magic number for a really good game for a receiver? So he got a chance to really shatter that and have a profound effect on this game.
Now a first down run is sniffed out from the start as they'll drop him for a loss of 4. Yikes, a 4-yard loss really sets him back now for 2nd down.
Ready.
2 minutes remaining in this first half of football. A reminder, once we hit halftime, as we do all season, we'll send it down to Jonathan Coachman in Orlando. He'll have all the stats and scores from games in progress around the NFL.
The best multitasker in the business, the coach.
And he's got some space here. And they'll get this well past midfield before being stopped just before the 35. That one good for 26 and a first down.
When you run a screen pass really well, you got to like the look of it because so many parts come together to make it work well. The offensive linemen, where they're faking people out, the back slipping out there, catching the football, then all of them going together as one unit downfield. A really nice pickup.
They'll throw on first down with Ryan. And this will be incomplete. Physical play on the football there, and it's second down. Well, the incompletion, yes, but maybe here not the worst thing in the world?
No, not on 1st and 10. It actually gives them a chance to regroup, relax just a little bit. They huddle up, talk it over. Then they get a chance to continue their drive.
To throw once more on 2nd and 10. Ryan.
Well, that's what you're looking for when you want to throw the ball downfield. You want one of those guys who can play out on the perimeter, can play out wide, who can not only get open, but when they're covered, can uncover themselves downfield and create catches.
From the red zone now, here's Ryan on first down. And he's got his man on the out route. And he'll go out of bounds in the red zone just inside the 20. The completion good for 3, and it's second down.
And, partner, I think that's a great example that not all tight ends are created equal because everything was right. Got the completion, but he's not one of the more dynamic guys in the league. So even though he caught it, couldn't turn it into much more.
They try to throw on second down, but this one is incomplete.
It's been my observation there's been a nice variety of play calling defensively. You and I often talk about an offense's ability to keep a defense off balance with what they're doing. I think the converse has been true in this game.
Yeah, I think you're right. They seem to have gone off tendency quite a bit, but only the second quarter, a lot of time to change things. He's got Freeman here. It's complete. And Freeman lost the football. And the Vikings pick up the football. And a big turnover there as his guys will get the football back.
The psychology of the game never ceases to amaze me because you would think there would never be a fumble from what we hear from coaches all the time, right?
And how much they practice not fumbling.
Practice it, preach it, talk about it all the time. You would think no one would ever turn it over. Yet they are humans out there running around, and we just saw another one.
Opportunistic by the defense. And you see Dalvin Cook and the offense heading back out. Might he be on his way to a record-setting performance here, Charles? Second quarter, and the yardage number already ridiculous.
And they always talk about just focusing on the next play. But sometimes it's okay to dream big because
I'm focusing on the fourth quarter already.
Listen, I don't blame you, though, because we could be witnessing some type of history here, and it's being done by him and, of course, the big guys up front who are creating the holes for him to run through.
Yeah, they've all been good so far. Here's a 2nd and 7 now from their own 7. Now a run with Cook. And they'll get him down up past the 15. The Vikings going to signal for the first of their timeouts as they stop it here with just under 40 ticks to go in this first half. Following the good run by Cook, here's another 1st and 10. From the gun, here's Newton. Forced out to his left. Now he'll pull it down. And he takes us beyond the 35 before going out of bounds. The coverage may be too good that time as he breaks away for 19 with his legs and a first down.
Man, defensively, that hurts. They got him out of his rhythm. They had him hemmed in, but somehow he was able to tuck it away and get away for a gain.
Newton now 13 of 16 throwing the football. It's 1st and 10.
Hey, check Mike 45. Check Mike 45.
They'll try the air now with Newton. Dancing to his left. He'll get 5 out of the scramble. It's 2nd down. Now the Vikings will use the 2nd of their timeouts as they'll stop the clock with 24 seconds to go in this first half.
You got nothing. I'm coming. 45, 45, 45, Mike, 45. Hey, come on.
They'll fake the handoff. Now Newton lets it fly for Thielen. That's going to be knocked away and incomplete. The safety, Keanu Neal, there to knock that one free. This secondary has been roasted in this first half, but they get a measure of revenge there. Nice play on the deep ball.
Yeah, they're going to need a few more plays like that in order to get their confidence fully back, but that's one step in the proper direction.
Check 59, Mike. 59, Mike to 59. Check, 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 check. Check, check, check.
From the gun on third down, Newton. And he's got the first down yardage as he brings this up to the 47. Newton able to use those legs and get past the marker to pick up the first. And we're going to get a timeout with 2 seconds remaining in the second quarter.
That's it. 180. 59. 8. I can't believe they even let you play. Close. Spot 9, Mike, spot 9. Watch the out. Mike's 59. Mike.
A final shot before the break. Newton. He's going to take a shot at the end zone. It's caught in the end zone. Touchdown, Minnesota. 4 touchdown passes now for Cam Newton as his guys continue to put this one out of reach. And just before the half ends, the prayer is answered. Defensively, a disaster there.
I know often we're surprised when this actually works. I mean, the excitement level goes way up, but maybe we shouldn't be, because I know as a defender, you've got to play the ball in this situation, but you can't interfere with the receiver because, remember, it's a spot foul, and it'd be first and goal if it happens in the end zone, and you don't want to give up that play. And that little bit of hesitancy often works really well for offensive guys.
Point after here coming up. And the route is on here in this first half. So we've reached halftime here in what is quickly turning into quite a rout. As we'll head down to Orlando, that's where we find our man Jonathan Coachman at our EA Sports Halftime Report. Coach.
Okay, Brandon, time for a sprint to the finish, as it's time to get you caught up with what's happening around the NFL here in a pivotal Week 15. We'll begin up at legendary Lambeau Field in Green Bay. And it's the 49ers who are out in front with that game closing in on halftime. Jimmy Garoppolo has thrown a touchdown pass. From there, we head over to MetLife Stadium to check in on the Jets. And you can see they trail the visiting Buffalo Bills in that ball game. Cole Beasley, a touchdown reception. Finally, we head to the shores of Lake Erie. See what's going on with the Cleveland Browns. And that one all tied against the visiting Steelers. In our game, it was Cam Newton who led the way in that first half. He's thrown for over 200 yards already, and his guys have the lead as well. As we get you back to Brandon Gaudin.
All right, Coach, thank you, and we welcome everyone back for quarter number 3. The Vikings have to like their position. They've got the lead. They get this football as well as we are back and underway for the second half. This is taken at the 3.
Just about every special teams meeting, there's a discussion with the punter about his importance. Why? He can flip the field for your team defensively, move it deep into their own territory, or if you're backed up on offense, and he can hit a big punt and change field position and help his defense. In this case, though, field position got flipped by the return team. You can do it so many different ways on special teams.
Starting the third quarter with Cook. Foyesade Oluwakan made the tackle there from his safety position.
Third quarter and you've got the lead. You're not ready to go into that 4-minute offense to close the game out, but a running game can really benefit your team right now.
Check back 45. Watch a slant. Watch a slant. Watch a slant. 45 to Mike. 45 to Mike. Let's go, D. Let's go.
From the 39, Newton. There goes a deep ball, end zone. And that will be incomplete. Tried to dial up the long one way out there, but it'll be third down.
Finally, a good play there defensively on the deep ball. The secondary has had its struggles this entire game. Offensively, they've had their way with them.
First down marker at the 31. It's third down.
Watch the pass. Watch the pass. Here we go. Here we go. 59's Mike. 59's Mike. Check.
Out of the gun, Newton. And an alley to run. And that's going to be good for another first down as the tackle's made at the Falcons' 29-yard line.
When they watch film of this game and hand out the grade sheets, he's going to really like getting a double plus on this play. Why? He scrambles and picks up a first down. But what else does he do? Protects himself by sliding and avoiding the big hit. Double plus, big-time play.
Mike. Ready, 59. Focus, defense, focus.
On first down, it's Newton. Oh, it's a screen pass. That's complete. A good pickup there on first as a screen pass gets him 8.
Right there.
For a second there, I thought that might break big. Screen pass. Looked like it was coming together. Looked like there was an opening. Still, ended up with a solid game.
Facing a 2nd and 2 after that last catch, good for 8 yards. And he'll give it here to his running back. And he'll be brought down inside the 20 at the 19. They'll get 3 as the drive continues. It's a first down.
Not too many more ideal situations in 2nd and 2 in order to try and pick up a first down. They ran it and picked it up.
He's coming. We got double up.
Draw play. This is Henry. And they'll lose yardage here. Knocked back to the 19-yard line. That's going to go as a loss of a yard, and it'll be second down.
Hey, a lot of points have been scored in this game against them, but tally that one on the side of the defense.
Do you think maybe, possibly, it can be a little bit of a changer for them? Maybe not a game changer, but a little bit of a momentum one that maybe they can string together some pretty good plays and slow them down.
45, Mike, 45. Quarterback, don't get nervous now. We ain't beginning.
On 2nd and 11 now. Newton. That one into the hands of Thielen, complete. And able to get him down, but he does reach the 5. Sets him up nicely. First and goal. It was a pickup of 14.
20. It's just me and you. It's just me and you. It's just me and you. 45. Mike, 40.
Now Newton. Stepping. And he's going to score. It's a Viking touchdown. A 5-yard touchdown run as his guys continue to pour it on.
Not the first time on this drive we saw him take matters into his own hands, and this time he finishes things off with a touchdown run.
You're not going to be happy with me, but I think he took matters into his own feet, didn't he?
Oh, Davis from the top rope. I like it.
Now they'll line up to kick the extra point. And the lead grows even larger here in the third quarter. So that drive takes him down the field in 8 plays. And Cam able to take it himself in for the score. So after the touchdown, Martin now on to kick this one away. Fielded about a yard deep.
And the decision to come out is going to cost him 5 as he's taken down right at the 20. So we get set to start this third quarter. Here's the Falcons offense now. They're down in this game. A chance for the offense, though, to put something on the board, get some momentum here in half 2.
Try and get things kick-started for them. And you know at the half, they discussed how they were going to get that done. This is where scripting comes into play a lot of the time.
How many plays do you script coming out of the second?
Most of the time in the first half, you're scripting 12 to 16. I think in the second half, you're really scripting more like 8 to 10. Kind of a starter or an opener, whatever terminology they use. Just something to get you off to a quick start.
They'll come up 2nd and 6 now from the 24. On the counter, Devontae Freeman. And they're going to get him behind the line yet again as his nightmare afternoon continues. 2 yards on the carry there, and it's going to lead him to 3rd down.
Tough first half for him, unable to put up the numbers he's used to producing. But with a guy like him, you and I both know it just takes a couple of explosive touches for him to make an impact on this game and on the stat sheet as well.
From the gun on 3rd down, Ryan. And he will not be able to hang on through the contact. It's incomplete. The coverage strong, and now it's 4th down.
We're into the second half now, and this is an offense that continues to struggle to sustain a drive.
Looks like they're just totally out of sync, whether they're running the ball, passing the ball like we saw there. I don't know. The rhythm seems off. Here's Matt Bosher now. He's been terrific so far. It's taken to the 26. Well, he wasn't too far from breaking that. Officially, give him 15. And possession will switch hands, 1st and 10. Getting set to go again here. Cam Newton marches back onto the field. Really solid effort for him right now. 3rd quarter, already 4 touchdown passes. How many can he get here?
That remains to be seen, but I know one thing. You and I will be here to watch, and I'm not going anywhere. With what he's doing in this contest, I'm not missing a minute of it. This guy's been spectacular.
Yeah, I mean, it's a team game, but sometimes these individual performances are fun to watch.
Yeah, sometimes they just kind of come to the front, despite the fact, as you said, we know it's all about the team, but the way he's playing, he's trying to make his team win on his back.
Yeah, it's been exciting.
45, Mike, 45. Check that out.
On 2nd down and 4. Newton escaping the pressure right. He'll run it, and he'll be brought down at the 48-yard line. 5 yards on the scramble, and that's enough to pick up the first.
That's it. And then 3. 45 to Mike. I'm coming after you. I'm coming after you. 45.
Now a 1st down throw for Newton. Now they go screen. It's complete. And that play will go nowhere. Losing yardage back near midfield at the 49.
You know what the key to a good screen pass is, don't you?
Bet you're going to tell me. Good blocking?
Well, good blocking eventually. But first is good acting. You want to let the defenders go past you, leak out to whichever side or even in the middle where you want to set up the screen, and then you do your blocking. How about the read, though, by the defensive guys? They weren't fooled at all and actually ran with the lineman to where the play was and smothered it for a loss of yardage.
And a flag comes in as that one falls incomplete.
Intentional grounding.
Well, let's see who this is on. Clearly wasn't outside of the tackle box. There's your penalty.
And accompanying that penalty, a loss of down.
So now it's 3rd and long, because remember, they also lose a down on the grounding call. A shotgun snap for Newton. Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. Grady Jarrett in there to get him, and that is sack number 6 now for him on the year.
Well, how about that? A dime set on defense, 6 defensive backs. None of them blitz. They're just back there in coverage, Defensive lineman gets the sack.
That's where the O-line, they go to the sideline, they keep their helmets on so the cameras can't find them, right?
Yeah, the cameras can't find them, but I know one thing, the O-line coach will.
And here now the punter, Martin, booming this one away. A big kick there. We'll call it 56 yards on the punt. And the Falcons will be taking over 1st and 10. And now let's discuss Julio Jones. And I know that they've double-teamed him a couple times, but not a ton. Whatever they're doing isn't working. He's up over 100 yards. We'll see how they adjust.
And when they do that, they weaken their defense in other places as well. And how many times have we done games where we've seen a guy have a big game like this? But it's usually not by himself, is it? Right. Usually it opens it up for other people to have big games as well.
Now a run on 1st down is not going to get off the ground as they will get him behind the line of scrimmage for a loss of 3. They'll wind up losing 3 yards here. And that'll make this a 2nd and 13.
Shaq Lawson's one of those guys that after a while you quit just trying to define him by a position. Defensive end, outside linebacker, doesn't matter. He knows how to get upfield and spill some plays.
So disruptive. What makes him so disruptive?
I think it's strength. If you see his upper body, I mean, he's got some strength up there and some really good hands, but he's got some surprising quickness as well to get him upfield.
Freeman. And this has been a familiar sight all afternoon as they stop him behind the line. It'll be a loss of a yard, and that'll force upon him a 3rd and 14.
Unfortunately for you, you've been around me for a little while now, so you know me as well as anyone and how I look at a game. I don't ever advocate abandoning anything, but in this case, I'm going against my own thought process. You got to change it up. You got to start throwing it around a little bit, finding ways to try and move the ball because keeping on the ground just isn't working for them.
Yeah, maybe get him the ball out of the passing game, or a swing pass outside or something, just something to vary it up. Now a 3rd down throw, but it misses the target, incomplete.
This defense is continuing to contest every deep ball that is thrown downfield. And look, it doesn't matter whether you're playing man or zone. Eventually that becomes man on man, and you've got to trust yourself and go up at that moment of truth and make a play on the football.
Here's Matt Bosher now as he's on to punt for Atlanta. His first punt, 48 yards. This one looks equally as good. Now here's Ross. A very good return there. Give him an even 20 yards. Cam Newton getting ready to go again on offense. He has been on his A game. We're in the 3rd quarter. He's already in search of touchdown pass number 5.
He's played so well that it's hard for me to take my eyes off of him, even when he's not on the field. I keep finding my eyes finding him on the bench in between series, wondering what he's going to do next. This has been a blast to watch him play the position.
He's been spectacular with those 4 touchdown passes. 8 yards on the pickup, and now they'll have some options on 2nd and short.
You know how we get focused at end of the half and into the game situations about how much time's on the board and, you know, what you need to do? Sometimes you don't even have to worry about that. That's just smart football. You know, that kind of a lead, staying in bounds, it burns clock, even in a situation that we're not really focused on it.
2 yards, good enough for a first. And a good quarterback facing zone coverage. If he has just a little bit of time to survey the scene, that's what's going to happen.
No doubt about it. If there's no pressure, he's going to continue to pick them apart because he'll have all that time to find someone open downfield. You can only cover for so long. So maybe they want to go to a zone blitz scheme, get a little bit more pressure. Remember when Carolina did that against Denver? They lost the game ultimately. They dropped the defensive end out, and he ended up with an interception in that game in Super Bowl 50. Maybe some sort of scheme like that to try and get more pressure at the passer.
And this won't be enough to pick up the first. A gain of 2, 3rd and 1.
Well, they had that one sniffed out. Excellent run blitz. Stop that one for a short gain.
What makes a good run blitz a good run blitz?
The ability to stay on task, to follow up your assignment, go to the gap you're supposed to cover, and not be deterred by anything else.
Let's go! Let's go! Let's go!
They're trying to show that they can run the ball and protect this lead. Give it to the backs, play a little bit of keep away, don't you think?
And that's probably a good philosophy at this point, going to make that defense stand up and stop them.
Gun, gun, gun. Shit.
And he'll get about 5 here as he'll take this down inside the 20-yard line.
Running lanes were at a premium in the first half, but he's able to find some room there, and he's hoping that that's a precursor of a big second half.
Another tote for the workhorse this afternoon. It's Cook. He'll get forward for 3 down to the 16-yard line.
I like the call. Inside the red zone, running the toss. Why? They want to get to the edges. They want to see if guys who don't normally make a lot of tackles are willing to actually do that. That usually means the guy's in the cornerback position.
They'll try to run for the first with Henry. And he's got the first down as he gets it to the 8. They're able to convert on 3rd down, and that sets up a 1st and goal.
Looks to me like maybe there's a little attrition setting in with this drive, because when you see that type of a run, I get the feeling the defense getting a little bit tired.
And that's the last thing they need, especially when they look up at the scoreboard.
Come on, QB, come on. Check safety. Check. 20. Check. Out.
They'll try to run for it with Henry. And that didn't fool anybody. He's going to be dropped in the backfield. Call it a full 3 yards in the wrong direction there. Brings up 2nd down.
Brandon, at some point, these defenders absolutely have to say, we've just got to make a stand. We've had enough of this.
Given up a lot of points in this game, but looked better on that play. On 2nd down, Cook. And he'll be dropped at about the 11 after only a yard. This defense against the run, by the way, they're not top 5, but they are top 10.
So what's your philosophy here? Do you try and run the ball against a team that's pretty good against the run? What if you're a pretty good running team? If so, you might want to go ahead and run it anyway because that's your strength.
This has been a long drive. You got to figure a field goal would be a letdown. Can they convert now on 3rd and goal?
45. Hey! I got it. Check 45 to Mike. Check 45 to Mike.
Operating from the gun. Newton. Complete. Smith has it. A loss of a yard, and it brings up 4th.
Well, I know it goes against the instincts of the person catching the ball because all you're ever taught is catch the football, don't drop it.
But drop it there.
Yeah, in that situation, dropping it would have been better. End up losing yardage, even though they completed the pass.
As good as a sack.
Yeah, how about that? Although they won't get the same credit for it, and it won't help them at contract time.
A dozen plays on that drive that ends with the field goal.
Let's go ahead and break out some of the old chestnuts here, right, partner? Keep the ball in front, rally to it, and make the tackle, right? No big plays given up, no balls over your head. Bend, don't break.
Hold on. Chestnuts?
You like
Come
that
on.
one?
What does that mean, break out? Just because you break chestnuts?
I'm not sure about that, but I'm just going with why they said that. I have no idea.
Here comes the Atlanta offense now ready to take over here. They've got to dig down deep. I mean, they need something right now, really anything to cling on to. This offense has struggled.
Partner, join me in a walk to their locker room at the half, okay? Because I think what we would have seen is an offensive coordinator and his assistant coaches getting together with all their positions, then coming together as a group, going over adjustments, and then the head coach coming in and just screaming, wake up. Yeah. Let's get moving, guys.
I'm kind of glad we weren't in there halftime, actually.
You think you might have turned it on us, too?
Yeah, but right now, whatever was said hasn't been working. And this has been a familiar sight all afternoon as they stop him behind the line.
He continues to struggle to find a crease to break off a big one and might need to just put that aside and just try and ram his way forward and get what he can.
These guys have punted 4 times already, and they're staring at a 5th, barring a conversion here on 3rd down. Now it's Ryan. And that is incomplete. Oh, he had a defender right there with him to force that to the ground. And 4th down now coming up.
It's always a goal, and it's really nice defensively when you can rally to the football and make sure there's enough contact to force an incompletion.
Force an incompletion and force another punt. Here's Matt Bosher now as he's on to punt for Atlanta. Pulled in at the 24. A well-hit ball there. 50 yards on the punt, 3 on the return. Getting set to go again here. Cam Newton marches back onto the field. He's been a good game manager. They're winning here in the third quarter, but really the ground game is where it's been at for them, hasn't it?
So whatever the game plan was, you just got to focus on continuing to run the football. And really, that takes the pressure off of the guy throwing it around. Doesn't have to be the focal point. Hand it off, let him chew up the yardage in big plays, and your team's winning. The only people upset, the fantasy guys who may have started him at quarterback in their leagues.
And we'll see if they continue with the recipe of the ground game. The last run got 9. That leaves him with 2nd and a yard. Henry running right. And he is going to be stopped cold behind the line of scrimmage. That backs him up 1 yard and brings up 3rd down. When this offense gathers to watch the tape, they're going to like a lot of what they saw. They put up big numbers, but they might fast forward through that last play.
Oh, there won't be any fast forwarding, partner. I've sat in those sessions before. You end up spending more time on the bad plays than you do on the good ones. It's just the nature of coaches. But I know sitting in that room, when you've had a big game, the night that they've had, you don't want to hear that. You just want to focus on the good stuff.
8 yards there on a 1st down. With that last effort, he has reached now 10,000 career rushing yards. Congratulations.
Big-time congratulations. That also means that his publicist can make sure all the information gets to every voter out there who has a say in the Hall of Fame. Fashioning together a heck of a resume.
He's going to be out of bounds on what's going to wind up being the final play of quarter number 3. Back now here on EA Sports. And this is a blowout so far as we get set for the 4th quarter. A very one-sided affair. Newton now 6 for 6 since coming back out of the locker room. It's 1st and 10. Now with the play clock down to 2, we're going to get a timeout here. It's just their first. They'll be down to 2 remaining as we step aside here in the 4th quarter. From the gun, it's a give to Cook. And an alley to run. The 20. And he'll get into the end zone. Touchdown, Minnesota. Dalvin Cook, 46 yards, as his guys continue to put this one out of reach. So another score there, and often you talk about the 3 phases of the game. Defense, offense, special teams. It's been a clean sweep in this one, hasn't it?
It certainly has. They've been pretty dominant throughout this game. And privately, the head coach will add a 4th phase. That's the coaching. And he'll tell the ownership that as he tries to negotiate a new contract off of this win.
They are looking strong here in the 4th quarter. Now the try here for the extra point. Now this one was over a while ago as they just add on to their big lead. 5 plays there on that drive. And it's capped off by the touchdown run coming from Dalvin Cook. Here's Martin now following the score as he'll send this one away. That'll be taken in the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. Falcons offense making their way onto the field. Let's take a look at the playoff picture coming into the weekend in the NFC. And it's right about this time of year you start to say this is when the cream rises to the top. Week 15, 3 weeks left to go, but still plenty to be determined.
And I think for most teams, the obvious is to try and be the number 1 or number 2 seed. But when you look at it across the league and throughout the history of trying to get to the Super Bowl, the teams you really fear are the ones that get hot and sometimes sneak in at a 5 or a 6 seed, because we've seen those teams actually get to the Super Bowl and occasionally win it.
Yeah, you think of the Giants a couple of times. Steelers have done it. You're right. It has happened and will happen more in the future, I'm sure. They'll break the huddle, come up on 2nd and 8 at the 27-yard line. Here's Ryan. Gets it off to Freeman. It's a gain of 5 on the play, and they're going to face a 3rd down.
I know most of the time when the ball's in the air, you're thinking wide receiver, tight end, but running backs, they can be a big part of any passing offense nowadays.
Ryan now to throw on 3rd down. This is Johnson. He's got it. Catch number 40 for him on the year. It's a 1st down.
Would it be safe to say that as precise as routes are supposed to be run in the NFL, maybe they're not quite as precise in college ball?
That's accurate, yeah.
And I think we saw a college route in the NFL there. Just find the soft spot, find the dead zone, and find the 1st down. And that's what he just did.
Throwing on 1st down, but this one winds up to be incomplete. At this point, down big, you'd have to imagine this defense are just going to sit back, blanket the field as best they can.
Yeah, this is actually the easy part of the game for them because, just as you noted, they can sit back, keep everything in front of them. They blanketed.
And he loses the football a 2nd time. And the Vikings pick up the football. And they'll start with great field position at the 41-yard line.
And with that kind of a deficit, you can't afford to make any kind of mistakes. But it's been pretty symptomatic of what we've seen all game with them, isn't it? Down this big in the 4th quarter.
Yeah, you'd say an afternoon to forget, absolutely. Now the Minnesota offense set to take over again. We find ourselves here in the midst of a one-sided affair. A lot of fill time down the stretch, Mr. Davis.
So we could talk about food because that is something that you and I both enjoy.
We share that.
We enjoy our time at the table. So maybe the best steakhouses in the city, but in all seriousness, the performances that we've seen this year, we've seen a bunch of great ones. And it's going to be hard to parse who's going to win the MVP.
Yeah, it really is.
Is it going to be a runner? Is it going to be a thrower? Can a defender finally win it this season? Those are the things that we could probably discuss.
And collectively, this is about as dominant of a performance as you could have hoped for on both sides of the football.
Might have to put it number 1 for what we've seen this season.
If you're going to blitz, likely going to leave you in man coverage with this guy, and that is less than ideal.
It is because just about any offense that has an elite receiver, if you blitz and have him in man coverage, you're going to him, even if he has an elite defender on him, because he usually knows where the ball is before the defender does.
And now a throw on 1st down there, but it's incomplete. Charles, you said earlier this defense is probably going to need to hold these guys right around 20 or under that if they were going to have a chance. It was evident pretty early on that wasn't going to happen.
Yeah, they left 20 behind a long time ago in this game, didn't they? It looks like they're headed towards a big, big number. But 20 was the threshold because that kept them in the ball game and kept the pressure off of their own offense.
Back to the air, Newton on 2nd down. This is caught. And he doesn't quite make it, taking it within an eyelash. Dropped it to 1. The end result, 21 yards. And he's over 100 yards now after that last catch. Already, of course, leading the NFL in receiving yardage.
So he's done nothing at all to hurt his cause, to stay in that spot. But I've been so impressed with how he's gotten it done. Body control, route running. How about the way he competes for the football at the end of the play?
You must be getting tired of seeing me.
Trying to punch it in with Henry. And he is met in his tracks behind the line of scrimmage. It's a loss of a yard there, and now second down.
Brandon, it's clearly a running situation when you're up in the fourth quarter. They're going to have to stack the box and make it difficult for them to move the ball.
Made it very difficult right there. Now they need to repeat that effort.
Yeah, bring 7, 8, 9, whatever it's going to take to slow them down.
They'll try to run this one in. And that one blown up quickly as he's going to be stopped before he could even get started. That'll set him back with a loss of 3 on the play. And that's going to bring up an interesting 3rd and goal. 2 straight shots on the ground. Now on 3rd, do you go to the air?
I think the possibility exists, and if you're doing it, you're probably going play action since you ran it twice. But I often think that 2nd down is a time you go play action and throw the ball. I say commit to the run and think about it being 4-down territory.
Now Newton on 3rd and goal. And he's going to score. It's a Viking touchdown. A 5-yard touchdown run as his guys continue to pour it on. They were looking to pass the ball there, but they forgot to account for the man with the football.
Yeah, I can hear people right now saying, well, why don't you have a spy in your defense, someone who will dance with him and go where he goes? Well, oftentimes if you utilize a spy, you've taken away someone in coverage as well. And oftentimes, the spy, not as athletic as the guy he's trying to keep up with, so he gets defeated anyway.
And he turns 3rd and goal into a touchdown. Cam Newton now getting his guys ready to go for the 2-point try.
65, 65, 65, 45, 45. Mike, 45.
Here's Newton. And this is going to be caught. So add 2 more to the lead as they continue to pour it on here in the 4th. And is there bad blood here? I mean, go for 2 when you're up that much?
If there wasn't before, there is now. When you do that, you've just announced to everyone, you just don't care about the other side at all. All you care about is what you're doing, and they just want to pile up points.
They did. So after the touchdown, Martin now on to kick this one away. Fielded about a yard deep. And he will be marked down right there at the 20-yard line. Atlanta now coming out on the field. And last time, not only the turnover, but that turned into 6 points. They got to make up for that here.
We always hear about empty possessions, but some are worse than others. You can have an empty possession, punt the ball away, get yourself set to play defense, but when you turn it over, it changes momentum, and when they take it downfield and punch it in on you, that's a bad possession all the way around.
Yeah, but you're hungry to get back out there, aren't you?
You better be, because otherwise, it's going to be a long day for you.
Touchdown, Falcons! Julio Jones, an 80-yard touchdown. And the Falcons claw one back. One play, 80 yards. Pretty easy drive to recap.
It certainly is, but not so easy to execute. Starting on your own 20, you want something to kickstart your drive and get it off to a nice start. They went for the whole thing and got it. That's a great way to send a message to the opposing team.
Gano the extra point as they make the score just a slight bit more respectable here in the final quarter of play. Those are the ones the offensive coordinators dream about. One-play drives from that distance. What an effort. It results in the touchdown. This fielded a few yards into the end zone. And he'll get it up to about the 26-yard line just across the 25. And you see Dalvin Cook and the offense heading back out. I guess it kind of goes without saying at this point, but he's had a great game, as we like to say, a nose for the end zone, no doubt.
Continues to find it throughout this game, and I'm sure he's got a nice place to live. He might want to make an offer on the end zone for a second home because that's what it's been like throughout this contest. He knows how to get there, and boy, he looks happy when he does.
He's already bought all the property in the end zone. That's the problem. He's going to sell to himself now. Throwing is Newton. It's complete to Diggs.
Holding offense.
So a decent gain, but all for naught on the penalty.
It's too bad, isn't it? They were feeling pretty good about it. Only people celebrating, the guys who just gave up that play.
They're backed up here with a 1st and 20 now after the holding penalty. Newton to throw. And, he took that in one-handed. What a grab. No gain, and it's 2nd down.
What a catch and one-handed, and I'm starting to lose my awe about the play, and maybe I shouldn't. How much of this is the player? How much of it is the glove?
Well, those gloves, they do have a little grip to them.
They get that little extra tackiness to them now, and I know the guys in the NFL, the competition committee, some other places, they're talking about examining those gloves to see if they're having too much of an effect on the game.
Well, there's your leading receiver in the NFL in terms of yardage, putting on another clinic, well over 100 yards.
Are we taking notes? We should be, right? Because I'm going to go back and watch this tape and really enjoy what I'm seeing. The route running, competing for the football, just breaking down a defense.
So here's a 1st and 10 at the 38.
45, Mike. Zoom. Hey, watch the slant. Check, 45 to Mike. Check, 45 to Mike.
Newton now to throw. Got his man there. It's Wallace complete. Give him 18 there and give the Vikings a 1st down.
Let's go.
And he's certainly been a huge factor in this one. He's got the 2 touchdowns to his credit. Now they look to him again. He picks up the 1st.
Yeah, I can hear everyone saying, well, why don't you cover him? Double him, triple him, do what you have to do. But sometimes they get locked into such a groove and such a connection, it doesn't matter how many guys are in his area.
He certainly looks to be in that groove right now.
Tight dog.
A 1st down carry for Henry. And Henry's hit. He lost the football.
Wow, that ball gets knocked free, but a teammate comes along and scoops it up. It's almost like baseball. Guys at bat, people are on base in scoring position. One guy doesn't get him home. The next guy comes through and picks him up.
And avoids the turnover.
Right to the 3. Hey! Get in the weight room. 45. Hayward. Let's go, D. 45.
From the 40 now on 2nd down. Newton eluding the pressure right. And now he's going to use his legs. A good decision in the end to pull it and run. Gets him 9 yards and a 1st.
Partner, he was going through his progressions. Not there, not there. After about the 3rd one, he decided he better pull it down and run for it. And he slides down and avoids the hit for good measure.
45. Here we go. Great. Check, 45 to Mike. Off. 45 to Mike. I'm coming. 45. Mike, 45. Ricky.
On 1st and 10, Newton. And brought in by the tight end Cook. And inside the 20 before he's brought down. Good work after the catch. Gets him 15 and a 1st down. And with that last play, he's now up over that 300-yard mark.
And in today's NFL, it almost feels routine. And I hate that when you talk about a 300-yard passing game. To me, 300 yards still signifies excellence, and he's achieved that in this performance.
Newton will bring him up 1st and 10. And he's 4 for 4 now throwing the ball. And he will score. Touchdown, Vikings. From 17 yards out as his guys continue to put this one out of reach. And that rushing touchdown is 4th, puts him just one shy of the NFL record in a single game.
And we all know he would love to get to that record and even beyond it, but he doesn't need to in order to impress in this one, does he? What a performance. What an absolute great game that he's had here in this one.
Now the extra point try forthcoming. Now this one was over a while ago as they just add on to their big lead. So that drives 7 plays in length. And it's capped off by the touchdown run coming from Dalvin Cook. Here's Martin now following the score as he'll send this one away. That's fielded in the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. Here comes the Atlanta offense now ready to take over here. And following that long touchdown pass, a one-play drive last time, we'll see if the defense, you know they're ready. They don't want that to happen again.
And you would have thought they would have been ready the last time. I mean, that's what you work on all the time. Make sure that no one gets behind you. That's the cardinal sin of defense, not giving up the long pass. They did. Let's see how they adjust.
Ryan will bring the Falcons up now 1st and 10 at their 25-yard line. Now Ryan. He rifles one that's intercepted. Picked off around the 27. He's at it again, Charles. He had the pick six last week. Not a pick six here, but an interception.
Hey, it's another Oski, because that's the word we use when we intercept a pass. Oski tells your team to rally around and block for you. Well, that worked really well last week because he made it all the way to the end zone. This week, he got the Oski, maybe not a touchdown, but, boy, he's playing really well.
And now out comes Minnesota. The outcome of this one, well, we know who's going to win it. It's just all window dressing at this point. Got me thinking, what's the biggest blowout that you've been a part of as a player, broadcaster?
Well, I'm not going to go to the player part because when I think blowout,
because you won every game as a player.
No. I think about being blown out, and no one wants to go back to those memories. But, you know, when I was calling college football, I saw a game that, you know, a team put 70. I actually saw it happen twice. A team put 70 on their opponent. And in the NFL, in the 2017 season, I saw one of those changing of the guard games where a team that hadn't been very good before now was dominating and kicking around a team who had been ruling their division.
And that's when you earn your paycheck, right? As the analyst, you got to fill that time.
You've got to know what's going on out there and how it all happened.
Well, obviously, that begs the question, what game was it?
That was Seattle hosting Los Angeles, the Rams.
Yeah.
Their second meeting of the season, and the Rams turned it around from the first one and blew out the Seahawks.
4 yards the pickup, first down.
Vikings, first down. Check 45's the mic. Check 45's the mic. Exit.
Now Newton on first down. And Diggs has it. And he'll get him inside the 15 down to the 14-yard line. The completion good for 3, and it's second down.
Brandon, perfect defense in this situation would have meant that there was an incompletion that would have picked it off. Okay, so they gave up the completion. But I really enjoyed watching how the defense stayed in sync, stayed in great communication. And as he dragged across each zone, you see him pointing, communicating. There he is, and they passed him off to each defender. Ended up making a nice play, even though it was complete.
That'll put him at 66 receiving yards now for the game, and he's got a first down.
Ready. Gun. Watch the boot. 45's the mic. Squeeze, double. Echo. Mike, 45.
Hey, watch that. Hey, watch the ball.
Check.
Great.
Check.
To throw is Newton. Toward the pylon, caught. And he will score. Touchdown, Vikings. Cam Newton with his 5th touchdown pass of the game. And the Vikings capitalize on the short field as they take it in for 6.
And now we've hit that stage of the game, partner, where one of our predecessors, one of the great commentators of all time, he used to sing in this situation when this game appeared to be over.
I know the fat lady's been singing for some time.
No, not her at all. This is one of our guys.
But she's singing too.
Oh, she's at least...
She's on like the 5th tune at this point.
She left Scales way behind, but he used to sing something about turning out the lights. The party was over.
Extra point forthcoming. And this one was over a while ago as they just add on to their big lead. The drive summary that time, 5 plays. And it's polished off by a Viking score. So after the touchdown, Martin now on to kick this one away. Fielded about a yard deep. And the decision to bring it out will cost him about 5 yards as he'll get this only back to the 20. Atlanta now coming out on the field. And last time wasn't pretty. One play and an interception. We'll see if they can do better.
I want to see if they want to go ahead and throw the ball again now on this drive after what happened on the last one. Throw it on the first play. Give the quarterback some confidence.
See what happens. Ryan leads with Freeman on the draw. And he'll push forward for about 4 up to the 23.
I call that play a success. A nice inside run sets up a very manageable second down. A very solid gain on that play.
To throw on 2nd and 6. Ryan complete. It's Johnson. Boy, he ran free there after the catch as that winds up going for 38. Defensively, I know they have the comfortable lead here in the 4th, but they do not want to give up big plays like that.
They want to finish strong. So oftentimes in this situation, you tighten up underneath in your coverage, and you bring your safeties back. They can pick up anything that leaks through. But in the meantime, upfield, you're making plays on the football.
It's a gain of 11, and the Falcons pick up the first.
I think it all came together there. In-breaking route, drove it with excellent pace. Money throw right there to move the sticks.
Now Ryan on first down. Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. These strong safeties, some people may not realize it. It's really like an extra linebacker, right?
It really is, because they're hybrids. Half linebacker, half defensive back. The linebacker in him on that play emerged.
So now 20 yards to go on 2nd down after the sack. Work to be done. Now it's Ryan. Johnson's got it complete.
In so many ways, throwing the hitch route is actually one of the safer things an offense can do. Get the ball out to the receiver as fast as possible, hope he's got man-to-man coverage, and hope that his athleticism wins on the perimeter.
Ryan. And finding the tight end Hooper. And he'll be stopped at the 27-yard line, well short of the first down marker. The completion good for only 6, and that'll bring up 4th. Well, this is how you shake the thoughts of that interception on the last drive. You come out and start this one 4 for 4.
And watching him throw it around with that type of confidence reminds me of a guy I played with way back when who told me, I don't care if I throw 10 interceptions in a row. I'm going to stay confident, keep flinging it. I just figured there's something wrong with the football.
Well, in the grand scheme of things, those 3 points likely not going to matter much, but I guess they get a little closer, a little more respectability.
Yeah, you're exactly right. They've been outplayed all game long, but like my mom used to tell me all the time before I went out, dress up a little bit, son. Make yourself respectable. And that's what they're doing here. They're just dressing up the final score.
After knocking through the field goal, here's Gano back out there now for the kickoff. Fielded about a yard deep. Just bowling over 10. And now look at him go. 30. Past the 20. Touchdown, Vikings. From one end zone to the other, 101 yards as his guys continue to pour it on. It's been a back-and-forth game, a lot of points on the board, and that return right there kind of indicative of how this thing's gone.
Yeah, you've seen both teams go at it, and as you just pointed out, both of them have found the end zone. But just like in boxing, you know the blow that hurts the most? The one you didn't see coming, and that often is the case when it comes in special teams.
No going for 2. They'll kick the point after. Now, this one was over a while ago as they just add on to their big lead. He covered every yard of the field plus 1 in the end zone. A 101-yard return there. Electric. So let's try this again. After the kick return TD, here's yet another kickoff. This fielded at the 2. And he'll take this up past the 20 and down at the 22-yard line. Getting set to go again on offense. We get a peek at Julio Jones now. A chance here on this drive to hit that often elusive 200-yard mark.
Throw him the ball. Throw him the ball. Forget analysis, all right? Let's just root a little bit here. Get him the football and get past that 200-yard mark.
Boy, you want that. You seem excited.
I know, and it's really weird because normally I want guys to intercept the ball.
Right.
I want to knock it down. In this case, he's been fun to watch.
The former DB rooting for the wide receivers. So they'll come up 1st and 10 now from the 33. From the shotgun, Ryan. And the catch made by Johnson. 7 yards, the pickup on the pitch and catch. Able to get 7 on that first down pass play. 2nd and 3. Here's Ryan. And that one got tipped. Kind of threw everything off. It brings up 3rd. Well, the trials and tribulations of being a quarterback in this league, it's tough. It's got to be wearing on him out there.
Well, he has been sacked a number of times. He had an interception, so I'm going to give him a skosh of credit for hanging in there and trying to make something happen, despite the amount of pressure he's been under this entire game.
He's got Freeman here. It's complete. And he brings this up to the 46. Good enough for the first. It's a 7-yard gain there, and it's good enough to move the chains. Just 2 minutes remaining here in the 4th quarter of what has been a one-sided affair. So it's Falcon football as we welcome you back. They've got a 1st and 10 as they search for a late score. On 1st down, Ryan. Got a man complete to Cedric Wilson. And he'll work it across midfield inside the 45. It's a gain of 11, and the Falcons pick up the first. Throwing now, Ryan on 1st down. He finds his man Johnson. And the result here, a pickup of 8. Leaves him with 2 to go on 2nd down. Gets it off to Freeman. And he'll be brought down at the 27-yard line. Now they got to get to the line quickly. Throwing again, Ryan. And down he goes. A coverage sack. Took too long to get rid of it. Everson Griffin has now recorded 10 sacks on the season.
The amount of sacks that they've absorbed in this game is absolutely extraordinary. Let's just face it. This offensive line, flat out, cannot handle this pass rush. It's been demonstrated time and time again.
An incomplete pass on that last play, and that means they'll need to come up with something here on 3rd down. Out of the gun, it's Ryan. And he can't escape the pressure. Ryan goes down. Now the Vikings will use the 2nd of their timeouts. That'll leave them with just 1 remaining in this 4th quarter of play. On now, Graham Gano. He's hit from 63 as recently as last year. This will be spotted just shy of midfield. A 59-yard attempt. And that is no good. Hit it well from distance, but he couldn't work it back in. And this score will stay right where it is.
Everything looked good. Good snap, good hold. Sometimes, though, the ball just doesn't want to go where you want it. And this one winds up no good.
And no doubt one of the most, if not the most exciting play we'll see in this game. The kick return all the way to the end zone for 6 points. Now a play fake here on 1st down. Flush to his right. And that'll be incomplete with 11 seconds remaining now. An incomplete pass on 1st down. That leads to a 2nd and 10.
You can't block me. You can't block me. You can't block me. 59.
Throwing here, Newton. And he's going to go down. They sack him back at the 42. And whistles, and they take their final timeout with 7 seconds left.
I don't think you got it, son.
Third and long. It's Newton. Going long here for Wallace. And that is incomplete. 2 seconds left on the clock. And with things looking pretty good on the scoreboard, they're going to keep the offense out there and go for it here on fourth.
Mike is 59. Mike to 50. Here we go. 59 Mike. 59 Mike. Check.
They snap it to Newton. Going deep for Diggs. And that is incomplete, but there is a flag. And on fourth down, this is a big call. So the game will continue for at least one more play.
Cannot finish a game on a defensive penalty. That's why they get one more untimed attempt.
And the kick is good. So you wonder how this one might be remembered the next time these two teams meet. But until then, this game's over. Well, a little drama there at the end, but really this thing was already decided. The late points get scored, and then it ends on the kickoff.
And I'm right there with you, partner. At the end of the game, they knew what they had to do. Just make sure you don't cough up the football at the end. Just take care of it, and victory was theirs, and that's exactly what they did.
So for the Vikings, they move ever closer to the perfect regular season as they run things to 14-0. And they will head back home next week. Meanwhile, for Atlanta, they suffer their 4th loss so far. And they'll get a chance to redeem themselves at home next week. And for Charles Davis and our entire crew, I'm Brandon Gaudin. You've been watching the NFL on EA Sports.